it's good that, of course, we've laid the background. And as we have seen, John, the clear indication is that elsewhere, it's a bit of a competition. That's what happens elsewhere. But in Ghana, we're crowding out the foreigners out of, that small-scale space. And perhaps some would say that's what's breeding the illegal exports. It's been a long-term problem, but tell us about the likely impact, when dealing with international partners, looking at the space now and the extractive sector.
Well, thank you very much for having me, first of all. I think it's always been said that if you are not at the table, you're on the menu. And I think for a very long while, small-scale miners and traders of gold in Ghana have been on the menu. And I think the good thing about the GoldBod, as we see here in Ghana, and as you're saying, we see in Guyana, is that you have a unified approach where you can deal with international investors. I think from the Commonwealth perspective, on the onset, it will seem quite worrying. Yeah. But I think it's a practice that is done everywhere. The whole idea is to protect the local players to start off with. Mm-hmm. If you go to places like India or UAE, you have the local players who are controlling the market. It's very unusual to have other nationalities in the UAE, for instance, controlling the oil sector. So I think it's a gradual process, but it starts with solidifying your base and making sure that you empower the local players to be able to play. And like the gentleman was saying, it's about being able to find ways, that equilibrium between strict protocols and monitoring and giving probably the foreigners who are trading in it specific export rules, specific licenses with which they can trade. So I see a more inclusive rather than exclusive approach.
Do you feel that there should be a reconsideration, possibly? We don't know if the GoldBod would want to approach it that way, of finding some space, at least, for the foreigners to come back into our local market then?
So I think it's a gradual process, but everything has to begin somewhere. Yeah. And I think if you start off operating in a gray area, what you get is a lot of mixed match. So I think where we've started from, or where the government of Ghana has started from, is a good approach. And I think just like everything else, your phone needs new updates occasionally, right? I think it will be a thing of being able to reiterate and see that, okay, maybe we should include this, we should include that, because the FDIs is very important, and whilst the GoldBod and what it's doing presents a stabilized currency, as we're seeing now, and presents a market that other investors want to invest in, at the same time, we have to think of the exit of capital. Yeah. So everything for me is about an equilibrium. Implementation and execution is key, but it's all about finding the right balance between what you have to do.